Hey guys, Teri here. So I'm assuming the only reason why you guys chose Uno over Spades is because you don't know how to play Spades. So let me give you a quick tutorial on how to play Spades. First off, there's 4 people that are going to be playing, and your goal is to win as many books as you can. Now, what is a book? A book is every person is going to play down a card, and you want to have the highest card. There's 13 books available inside of the deck. So here's the key. So if somebody plays a heart, everybody else has to play a heart, and the goal is that you're gonna have the highest card in that round. So that means if somebody plays a 5, you want to have Jack, King, Queen, Ace, right? You want to win the book with the highest card. Same thing if y'all are playing clubs. If somebody put down the 10 of clubs, then you would be trying to get higher than that. You try to have the Jack, the Queen, King, Ace. Of those 4 people playing, you want to have the highest card, okay? And there's 4 different suits. There's 4 different suits. And so if someone starts with a diamond, then you got to put out a diamond. You're going to try to have the highest card. If somebody puts out a club, you have to put out a club if you have one in your hand, and then you're going to try to have the highest card. Now, what happens when someone puts out something, say they put out a heart, and you don't have any hearts in your hand? Well, that's when you get to play a spade, and spades trump everything else. So a spade would help you win the deck. That's called cutting. You cut with a spade. Here's where the fun comes in. If somebody else also doesn't have a heart or whatever suit was played, they can play a spade too. And if they have a higher spade than you, then they'll win. So the goal is you're trying to get and win as many books as possible by having the highest cards. But the strategy is fierce. So now I want to teach you about the strategy. So I'm going to pretend like there's 4 different people, and we're going to deal ourselves a hand and then practice. Alright, so remember you got 4 people sitting around the table. Each one is going to play their cards, and they're trying to win as many books as possible. So they're trying to play the highest card and win that deck. So we're going to deal. Each person gets 13 cards. Go ahead and deal the whole deck. Sometimes people will take the 2 of diamonds and the 2 of clubs, I think. 2 of the 2s out, and then put in the jokers so that you can have like 2 more high cards. But for now, let's just get the concept out. Alright, so now let's see what my hand looks like. Alright, let's look at this together. Ooh, okay, I got some nice cards there. Okay, so like usually I would organize this a little bit, see what I got. So I'm gonna organize the diamonds together, because remember you gotta know what's in your hands. Organize the clubs together. Make sure you don't put clubs and spades close, because you don't want to get confused. Because these are spades, not clubs, so I want to cut with those. Ooh, look, I got some high spades over here, okay. I'll put this over here. Alright, so I don't got too much in hearts or in diamonds, but spades I'm looking kind of decent. Okay, alright guys, so here's where the strategy comes in. Before we play, I have to try to estimate how many books I think I can win. Now, I don't have any high cards of diamonds, so I don't think I can win that one. I don't have any high cards of hearts, so I don't really think I can win much there. And then I don't have many high cards on clubs, so somebody else has all the high cards for those books. But what I do have is I have a couple high cards in spades. So here's where strategy comes in. In order for me to take advantage of my spades, I need to either get rid of some of these cards so that I can cut with the spades, or I'm gonna just have to wait for some times where there's like a spade, a whole round of spades, and then I can come in and make some plays there. Okay? So in this hand, kind of sucky, but my strategy would be to try to get rid of as many of the red cards as I could so that I could start cutting and then win some of the books when I cut. Okay? That's one piece of strategy. Another piece of strategy is if I have all the low cards, that means that my partner, so usually you'll play this in partners, my partner may have some of the high cards. So if I find out that my partner has all like the high, like the ace of diamonds or the ace of hearts, then I'll try to play those low cards so that they can then win those books and we'll still win together. So that's strategy there too. You're also supporting your partner when you don't have a good hand. Making a little bit of sense? All right, guys, so let's look at another hand and see what we would do with this new hand. How we would use some strategy here. All right. Ooh, goodness, look at this hand. Somebody had a great hand. I would have wanted this one. But look at this. Okay, so they already out the gate are coming out with the aces. And they got some high cards. They don't got too many spades though, so that's gonna hurt them. But let's organize this and see. Okay, so first of all, they got diamonds. Don't forget to separate your diamonds and hearts because you don't wanna, when you play the wrong card, which means like, say for example, everybody's playing hearts and you thought you didn't have a heart, so you put down a different card, and then later you find out you have a heart. That's called reneging, and you'll have to give up books to the other team for that. So you don't want to ever mess up and forget that you have a suit in your hand. That's why it's so important to kind of organize. Ooh, look at this person. They got all the diamonds, but what this also means is somebody else. Okay, let me explain to you what this deck means. So this person has they got a couple spades, and depending on, some people play the 2 of spades as a high card, some people play it as a low card. That just depends on semantics. But they got a lot of ace, a lot of hearts. They do have one high heart, that's good. And then they've got a couple clubs here. And then they've got several high diamonds. It's a decent hand. But this is what I see. If they have this many hearts in their hand, there's somebody else who doesn't have very many hearts and is going to probably cut them pretty early. So that means that this person needs to start by playing that ace of hearts as soon as they can, so they don't get cut later by a spade from somebody who doesn't have hearts. In this one, they have all the high cards here in diamonds except the ace. So if they were the first person to play, then I would want them to play maybe their jack first, because here's what would happen. The only other card is an ace of diamonds. If their partner has an ace of diamonds, then they have a high probability that their partner would be able to see, like, hey, let my partner win and not play my ace. If one of the other people has the ace, it'll get out, and then the next one that's diamonds, you'll win with the king, because you got all the highs. Strategy, remember? Here with these clubs, you definitely would want to lead with that ace of clubs. Get that book real fast because nobody else has that ace. But then after that, you want to get rid of these clubs so you can start cutting with the very few spades that you have. And you would be cutting on diamonds, on these clubs, because you hopefully will get these out of your hand, and then you wouldn't have any more clubs. Now the problem is, down the way you're gonna have all these hearts left, so you're hoping your partner doesn't have any hearts, and every time you play a heart, they'll be able to cut with a spade and you guys can run the table. Strategy. Let's go to the next hand. I'm having fun analyzing these hands. Clearly I'm in Bali with a deck of cards, so I stay ready. I just want y'all to know that. So let's see what this person's got going for them. Let's try to determine how many books we can get. Like in the beginning, everybody has to like has to bid. Let's see how many this hand would bid. So let's organize the hearts, put the diamonds together. Now you got to be careful if you're playing with experts in spades, because they're going to be paying attention to you organizing your hand too, and they're also going to notice like, well, she put about three cards over here, so that means she must have 3 of something, right? So also try to mix it up sometimes so that people don't really know what you're doing. But let's get organized. Yeah, when you start playing with the OGs that have been playing spades all their life, then that's when you start thinking about the extra rules. Okay. Alright, so let's look at this hand. This hand is interesting. There's not like a lot of great things going for it. So if I was bidding this hand, I have 1 ace. So I think I could probably say I got 1 book that I could win. And I would want to try to find a way to get this out pretty quick. Here, somebody would have to play the ace of clubs, and then potentially if there was another round, I could win here. But remember that if I have this many clubs, there's a possibility someone else doesn't have clubs. And remember that other hand that only had 2 clubs? So if I don't play this soon as like, if I let 2 rounds go, after that, all these clubs are gonna get cut and they don't matter anymore. There's nothing really here in the hearts that's really gonna help me, so I wouldn't be able to bid anything there. And then I have 2 spades, but they're kind of lower spades, and I still got a lot of everything else, so I'm not sure that these are gonna help in my favor either. So this one, I would probably bid 1 book. Not even really any possibles. I would tell my partner, look, I could help you with 1. That's about it. And then I'd have to be on my like partner help game, right? Like, okay, if I realize that they don't have any clubs or they don't have any hearts, then I'm playing those, trying to help them to cut, right? That was a 1 book possibly that they go in. Now let's see this last hand. This person probably has a monster hand. Let's see. Well, let's see. Okay, so they have a couple hearts here. They got quite a bit of black. So let's see if it's spades or clubs. These are spades, diamonds, clubs. Okay, it's organized. So potentially they could do something here, but I doubt it. I bet whoever's gonna have, they got 1 round where they're not gonna have this, where they're not gonna have to play their king, and then the next one they gotta play the king. So potentially they may have something there. They got quite a few spades, which is good. They can cut, but the spades are like medium. They're like not that high, but also not that low. They don't have anything in diamonds, and they don't have anything in clubs. So this person too is slightly struggling. But I think this is the way that I would play it. If I was playing this hand, I would try to get rid of these hearts and rid of these diamonds so that I can cut. So as soon as possible, I'd be trying to get these things out of my hand. And you're probably gonna get a chance, because as soon as somebody else plays that ace of diamonds, this one comes out. Somebody then may follow up with a king of diamonds, one comes out, and now you're cutting because you don't have any more diamonds. So you may be able to win 1 there, but I wouldn't even, in the bidding, I wouldn't count that. Maybe it'd be a possible, right? So I'd tell my partner, I got nothing for you, maybe a possible. Something like that, you know? But this, I'm pretty sure one of these is gonna hit when in cutting, because somebody else is thinking that they got a great hand, because they got aces and kings of diamonds, and you're about to cut all of that. Hearts as well. You only have 2 hearts, so you're going to be cutting pretty quickly in hearts. So one of these will probably get you a book. This is where if my partner said, oh, I got, 3 in a possible, I'd say go ahead and do the possible. We can get to 4, because you got something here in one of these cuts, right? Now the bidding is important. When they start bidding and saying like how many are in their hand, pay attention, because that means that they've got some good things in their hand. They're not using that to fake you out. Like that's what they got in their hand. So either they have a ace, a joker, they have no hearts, no spades, nothing, like a small number of a suit, so they can cut early. Not no spades, but a small number of a certain suit, so they can start cutting early. Like, pay attention. And then as people are playing, like clearly, yes, I went to MIT, and yes, I practiced card counting because I thought I was going to be on Vegas streets playing 21. But even without that, you need to pay attention to what everybody else is playing, because if we're going around in a circle and people are putting down hearts, you're gonna see that the ace come out, that the king come out. Then you'll know, okay, I know my jack will now walk because the ace and king were already played. Or if you see that somebody, like everybody puts out hearts and somebody throws a diamond, that means that they don't have a heart, but they didn't want to cut because they didn't want to mess up their partner, right? Or maybe they don't have very many spades and they just got to throw something out of their hand. So you got to pay a lot of attention to what people are playing in order to be strategic about what you can play to win the next few books. In spades, once again, the goal is for you to get the highest number of books, and then each book is worth 10 points. So many times you'll see people go to like 500. For every book that their team wins, they get 10 points for that. And then if you go over the number of books that you bid, you only get 1 point. But you try not to get just 1 point. You'd rather have 10. It's like the difference between the $1,000 in a day club and the $10,000 in a day club. We start with 1,000, that's great, but we really want the 10. All right, hope this is helpful. I'll see you guys at game night at the conference. Bye.